with me. Hey, dog, how are you doing?
I am very, very well. It's been a very exciting day
Ah,
for me.
I like the smile on your face.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I need to know why. Tell me about it.
Right. So, Kwame, there are those situations or conditions in med school
Uh-huh.
where you can only read about in a textbook.
Mm-hmm.
And they will tell you that you probably will never see anybody with this particular condition throughout your career. If you are fortunate enough, you may come across somebody who's made that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very special human being. Well, I mean, you know your heart is on the left side of your chest, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we say the pledge, and then
Yeah.
when we are Abikus trying to give the ladies raps, they say, "Oh, believe me, I love you from the bottom of my heart."
Then they
His
put their
go
hands
there.
on their left.
Right. But what if I tell you that there are some individuals whose heart is actually on the right?
Wow.
And internal organs like the liver is on the right upper side, the spleen is on the left upper side. Theirs is flipped the other way around.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Very, very interesting. They
So
are
what happened? So is it
very
that-
special people? And today I met somebody like that in the clinic, and I still haven't recovered. I still haven't recovered. 16
Wow.
years of practice, and no, you don't come across people like that.
So how does it happen like that? Is it like the angel who brought the clay is left-handed or what?
Well, probably I just think they're just super special. They didn't go with the flow.
Yeah.
They decided that, oh, okay, no, during the whole embryonic process, forming the human being
No,
process.
let's start from heaven because that's where the clay.
Well, yeah, but
they took
whoever
the clay.
wrote the code, yes. Well, so maybe God sent a special angel, to bring a different type of.
Or their clay is from a Galamsey site.
No, Kwame, I think this one is more of a better site than ours.
Really?
Yeah, because they're really special.
So what? What are the advantages of having your heart on the right?
No, I just think that you just being a very unusual person, a very different person from
Yeah.
7 billion of us, and probably there are only 10 of you who are like that. The fact that they're different from all of us,
Yeah.
it's, for me, that's what makes them special.
So when they're saying the pledge and they put their hands on their left chest, it means they don't have to follow what the
no,
pledge says.
They have to turn the right side and all of that. And I'm sure
Wow.
people will have a go at them and all of that. So yes, they are very, very special Ghanaian walked into our consortium.
Emmanuel in Sakumono suggests something. He says, Lexis, it could be that the guy with the heart on the right is a mirror image. they made them out of a mirror.
They make out of the mirror. Wow. So it was very, very excited that I met
Yeah.
him. He was excited to see us. He's a great listener of the show.
Okay.
Secondly, I had two important news items today on health, on joy, and I'd like to make a comment on these two news items. The first one was about the cost of sanitary pads for women and menstruation. There was a news item, and it was very, very touching. Look, Lexis, menstruation is a physiological event that women in the reproductive age group have to go through.
Yeah.
If the cost of sanitary pads is so expensive such that people can't afford, then it's a big problem. And just last week, the Rotary Club of Ekwapim Rage made a big donation to a school in the Ekwapim North constituency and a remote village in there to schoolgirls. And I thought it was a wonderful initiative, and I doff my hat off to the entire Rotary Club of Ekwapim North, led by their president, Nana Sam. And today when I heard the news item, then I realized that this is a big problem.
Yeah.
And we have to take steps as a nation to promote menstrual hygiene, good menstrual hygiene, and make sure that females in that reproductive age group have access to it. They talked about the cost of menstrual sanitary pads, and we need to really take a look at it.
Yeah.
The other one, I won't talk too much about it, about plastic bags being used as condoms. Kwame, that one
Isn't it a problem?
it is a problem, but why should it be a problem? So when I heard the news, I said, when I come out, I'll talk to MFR about it because it was serious. I needed to get more details.
But why are you saying it shouldn't be a problem?
But Kwame, The condoms, they are supposed, we can even get them for free. The way they were saying, people are shy to go and get the condom. I mean, why?
So do you
Why
do
were
a
you
campaign?
shy? Okay, today we're going to talk about hypertension, part 3. So let's go.
Now, I also had good news to share with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh my goodness.
What question? Share the good news. Please
So
share.
I also had some good news to share with you.
Alright.
One of our listeners, Vivian, sent me a message earlier today. It says, Lexis, please thank Dr. Osafo for me. Why?
Oh, wow.
I listened to him last week and I quickly went to check out my cause of recent headaches. Now, it turned out my blood pressure had shot up. I am not hypertensive, but I'd been dealing with some intense work pressure, which I wasn't handling well. I would have just taken some painkiller, but for the advice Dr. Osafo gave on your program, I went to see my doctor and the issue has been addressed.
Right.
I am better and I'm strictly following the doctor's advice. Thank you, Lexis.
Wow.
Thank you, Dr. Osafo. So it just gave me great joy
Wow.
that this is really going well, and I'm sure a lot more people out there
Absolutely.
have taken steps to check their blood
Absolutely.
pressure
Absolutely.
and all. So today we should talk more. Today we're actually going to activate the phone lines for people to ask questions about hypertension.
Right.
So if you're listening, today is another open clinic, I can call it that way. If you have
Absolutely.
questions about blood pressure, your blood pressure, hypertension, or anything you want resolved, you can call in on 0302 216 Yeah, 0302 216 or send us a WhatsApp message on 055 1111997. Doc.
Right. So, Kwame, before the messages come in, I want to briefly talk about one of the important, or people have been asking that question, why is blood pressure control important? Let me share some statistics with you. Blood pressure control, if your blood pressure is within a certain range, well, it reduces your risk of developing some key complications. The first one is a stroke. And Kwame, it reduces your stroke. If your blood pressure is well controlled, it reduces the risk of developing a stroke by as much as 30% compared with individuals whose blood pressures are not properly controlled. It also reduces your risk of a myocardial infarction, which is also known as a heart attack, by 25%. And then also reduces your risk of developing chronic kidney disease, which for me it's a feared complication, because it's one of those things where it really drags the life out of you slowly and painfully over a long period. And it reduces that risk of developing chronic kidney disease by as much as 23%. So if you ever needed any motivation for getting your blood pressure under control, think about these three things: the risk of a stroke coming down by 30%, the risk of a heart attack coming down by 25%, and then the risk of developing chronic kidney disease coming down by as much as 23%. Now, there are some, although hypertension generally it's a silent disease, we have certain situations we call hypertensive emergencies, where the blood pressure has reached a certain level that if you do not act, then in the immediate term you may suffer some challenges. And that blood pressure threshold is 180 for the systolic blood pressure, the first number, and then 120 for the second number. And there are some red flags. All right, the first one, Kwame, is severe headaches. All right, this is sometimes we'll call, the splitting type of headaches. All right, that doesn't resolve with paracetamol or any other medication. You may also have chest pain. You may experience nausea and vomiting. All right, people may think that the headache, the nausea and vomiting, maybe I'm coming down with malaria or something, so they would want to go and pop some anti-malarials. But I want us to take note of these red flags. So do not trivialize nausea and vomiting. Dizziness is also another thing, where you feel everything around you is spinning. All right, and then visual disturbances. You can't see things clearly all of a sudden. And then a racing heartbeat. You really feel your heart beating against your anterior chest wall. All right, as if it wants to just pop out of your chest.
Yeah.
Palpitations, we call it. So these are the red flags. I'll go over them again. Severe headaches, chest pain, nausea and vomiting, dizziness, visual disturbances, and then a racing heartbeat. If you experience any of these things, be a good idea to check your blood pressure immediately. And so all of us should invest in a blood pressure monitor or device and make sure it is well calibrated, and then you check. These are red flags of hypertensive emergency.
Okay. 0302216541. You can call in now and ask questions, or you can send me a WhatsApp message on 055-1111-997. If you have any questions about hypertension, you can speak to the doctor directly. Hope Domestic Robot says, Doc, can one of the things you taught me on radio, stress cardiomyopathy, cause hypertension?
Right. So when we talk about a cardiomyopathy, then we're talking about cardio means heart, and then myopathy means a muscle problem. So the muscles of the heart are unique. So we call them cardiac muscles. They are unique from the muscles of that make up your biceps and then your chest wall muscles. So in itself, it will not cause hypertension, but it will cause what we know as heart failure.
Okay.
Heart failure.
Okay. All right. I think we've got a friend on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. What's your name?
My name is Doreen.
Say that again.
Doreen.
Doreen. Okay, you're live on air. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the doctor. Sometimes I have this problem. I wake up in the morning, then I have this night headache. Then I feel some weakness.
Doreen, your line is a little faint. If you can speak up for us, we can hardly hear you.
Yeah, what I'm saying is sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I have this problem where I have a slight headache. Then I feel I have less energy. Then when I check my pressure, the down one is up, sometimes about 96 or 95. But then what happens is when I'm taking my bath, I vomit this kind of saliva that is very acidic. It's bitter too. Sometimes it's yellow, sometimes there's nothing in there, just saliva. So when I vomit it out, then all of a sudden my strength comes back, and then the headache goes away, and then I feel fine again. And then when I check my pressure would have gone down. That one would go down to 79 or 78. So I wanted to find out what really is wrong with me.
Right. So Doreen, thanks for getting in touch. Well, what I would advise is for you to get in touch with your physician. We need to be able to make a determination on that blood pressure reading. Of course, we mentioned that 140/90 threshold, but we need to be able to make a diagnosis of hypertension. It's not a one-off reading. So, Lexis, I talked about the home blood pressure monitoring.
Yes.
Way of doing it, where you go home with a validated and calibrated device, and then you measure your blood pressures correctly twice a day, in the morning and then in the evening at the same time, preferably 8 a.m., 8 p.m., and you do that for at least 4 days, preferably 7 days, and then we will evaluate. If on the average you get readings above 135 on 85, then we will conclude you are hypertensive, and then we will roll out the treatment plan.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Me from Usu.
Say that again.
Me from Usu, please.
All right, Nee from Usu. Let's hear you.
Okay. Please, what's low blood pressure? My question is two parts, actually. I want to know what low blood pressure is and its implications. And then the other question is, apart from the symptoms that you go for hypertension, are there other symptoms that would be like individual approach? That is individual approach. It's like it's similar to a particular percent, and other people will not really notice that those symptoms in their system.
Right.
Okay, I think that's my question.
Okay. Doc, you were saying something.
No, I didn't quite get the second part of the question.
If you can take
are
that
there
again.
symptoms that are referable to what exactly?
Which one? The second part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the second question, please.
There are some people that would tell you that they have, I don't know, maybe they tell you they have appetite, and could it be cause of hypertension or yeah? And there are some people that will tell you other things apart from the symptoms that you described, right? It's possible to have different reactions.
Right. So let me start with the second question. Generally, high blood pressure would give you no symptoms, and that is the message that I hope over the past 3 weeks we've been able to send out there. We're not waiting for symptoms. The way we diagnose it is to put a cuff on your arm and measure it. So I know it's part of our health seeking habits to wait for symptoms before we move. But the messaging for hypertension is that most of the time it doesn't give you symptoms. What I just read out on today's show are symptoms of hypertensive emergencies, where you are really pushing it. All right, where you've gotten up to 180, 120. So I don't want us to even focus on that. So the messaging is that generally you would get no symptoms. Right, now it talks about low blood pressure. Yes, it's something that also exists. So we've got the normal blood pressure, or the blood pressures where your risk is minimal, and then we've got hypertension, and then we've got hypotension. So the minimum for the systolic blood pressure usually is 100, and then the minimum for the second one, the diastolic blood pressure, is 60. So if you fall below these numbers, below 100 or below 60, then we would say you are hypotensive.
Is that as dangerous as hypertension?
Well, if your blood pressure drops too low, eventually you don't get enough blood to important organs like the brain, the kidney, and the liver. So that is also not compatible with life long term. All right. It is not a situation that usually happens a lot. We don't usually have hypertension as a problem, except people are very dehydrated. So in refugee camps and people fleeing disasters, or disaster hit areas like a tsunami or whatever it is, and they don't have access to drinking water, you become very dehydrated. People who are bleeding from anything, from trauma, can't go into that. There are some medical conditions, very rare hormonal conditions, that you lose a lot of salt, sodium, from your body, such that your blood pressure drops. Remember,
Okay.
Kwame, I mentioned that sodium is very important in maintaining our blood pressures, or actually raising it.
Yeah.
So if he has a problem with hypotension, be a good idea to contact a physician
Okay.
to be investigated.
Hello?
Hello.
You're welcome. What's your name?
Please, I'm Abuna.
Abena, let's hear you.
I'm okay. Doctor, I have this problem. In fact, every time I wake up early in the morning, I have that feeling. I feel very weak. And it's not dizziness, because if it's dizziness, then it means everything is spinning now. This one is not spinning, but I feel very weak. I feel uncomfortable. I don't know. I can't even express how I feel. But immediately I take in some food, and then I become okay. I don't know.
Right, but do you ever check your blood pressures at that time in the mornings?
No. Rather, I normally check my sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, but anytime I check the sugar is okay. Maybe 5.5, 5.2.
Right, so it would be a good idea for us to know what your blood pressure is. These are very non-specific symptoms that you've put out there. It may be a lot of different things. We need a lot more information, a much more thorough history. But please, if you are able to check your blood pressure, and then you can reach out to us after the show, and then we can delve into this much further.
Okay.
Thank you, Abena. And Lexis, I'm 13 weeks pregnant. And my last antenatal check, the doctor diagnosed me with hypertension. I had no prior symptoms, and the other day reduced to 125/68 the next day. He wants to keep me on the drugs, but since I have no symptoms, I don't know whether I should continue.
You should listen to your doctor. This is pregnancy, and there's something we call pregnancy-induced hypertension. So I would strongly advise you to go with your doctor's recommendations on this, because pregnancy-induced hypertension can progress to preeclampsia and eclampsia, and I women sometimes unfortunately die from eclampsia. So please, please, please go with your doctor's recommendations on this one.
Thank you. Hello?
Hello,
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Kofi.
Kofi, let's hear you.
I've been diagnosed as being hypertensive. My readings are always above 35, and I've been put on medication.
If you say that again, your readings are above
135.
135. That would be the first
Yes.
figure. How about the second one?
The second is between 80 and 90,
Okay.
and I've been put on medication. I think I'm Amodipa and Bendu or something.
Right. I'm Lodipin and then Bendro. Okay.
And I've been told I will take it for my life. Look, would it affect my machine? My car is important too.
Right.
He's asking, won't it affect his machine?
Okay.
Because his car is important.
Risk.
And
Yeah,
I have a
private cars are
problem too.
important. But
Say-
okay.
Say that again. What'd you say?
I have a problem with you too.
You have a
Maybe
problem
the
with
doctor.
me. Please.
You people, you've been organizing some work for us, and all of a sudden, let me always say, all of a sudden, that's it.
No.
Attended.
No. The walk was suspended because of COVID. Okay. We couldn't gather so many people because we had thousands of people attending, and we put a hold on it. But we are bringing it back. Okay.
Anyways, I've been doing my own exercise every weekend.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
That's good. That's good. All right. So, doctor has a response for you.
Right. So let me make 2 points. The first one is about this whole forever business or for life business. I never tell patients that because of the advances we're making in science and medicine every day. I mean, just take a look at the phones. All right. They keep changing and they keep getting newer phones, better phones all the time. So it is possible that science and medicine would advance to the point where we'll find newer agents, and therefore you may not have to take any drug, for 40 years or for 30 years. So I'm very cautious about using that word. But right now, the state of the knowledge is that you have to take the medicines every day. But I don't want us to focus so much on that forever business because you never know what will happen in 5 years or happen in 2 years. All right, we may get newer agents. He threw out some numbers out there. Point is that if you're on medication, there are certain targets that your doctor will set for you. And I think I went over these things. That, for example, if your blood pressure is 115 for this upper reading, and when you move to 135, you double your risk of developing all the things that we talked about, the stroke, the myocardial infarction, the chronic kidney disease. If you move from 135 to 155, you quadruple your risk compared to the person at 115. If you move to 175, then the risk goes up 8 times. So the thing is that we want to move you closer to say 115, and therefore the targeting is that you don't ever cross 130 and you don't ever cross 80 if you're on medication. So that's that for the BP targeting. And there are a number of ways of going about this. I'm happy you talked about exercising. So 135, 85, it needs to be fine-tuned a little bit, and his doctor would lead in those efforts. He needs to see a dietitian. Most of the time the challenge is with the hidden salts, and I did mention this as well. So there are dietary things that needs to kick in, exercise needs to kick in, and sometimes you may even need to modify the medicines.
All right. Dada, both in Kaswa says, Doctor, I'm hypertensive. I've been experiencing some slight headaches early hours of the morning, usually between 3:30 a.m. to about 7 a.m. My BP is around 110/75 and 125/85.
Well, I mean, what's he doing up at 3:30 a.m.? Should be sleeping.
Yeah, he's sleeping, but the head is aching, so he wakes up.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe something wakes him up, and then after that, then he gets a headache. All right. So those blood pressure readings are fine. I mean, 110 on 75. There may be other reasons why it has the headaches. I must mention that sometimes some of the medicines can give you a headache. So headaches can be a lot of things, or it can be very, very trivial things. So again, it would be a good idea for us to talk to him about it.
Okay.
as
Look,
physicians.
I've noticed that if we can actually have 20 more of these open
Sessions.
clinics on hypertension, because lots of questions are coming in.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if we couldn't tackle your question, please call the doctor personally, or probably pass by Medical Hospital in Medina or Mampo Ekiapim and see him, and he can help you investigate your issue. So, Doc, what's your number so folks can get in touch with us?
Right.
With
So
you?
the number is 0501 477 340. 0501 477 340. And Kwame, special spine clinic coming off next week.
Right.
We're getting our team from the US visiting. So
Oh, Dr. Yuenchi will be in town?
Dr. Inchi will be in town tomorrow. So next week, special spine clinic, you can call the number.
Right. For those who have back pain and those who would want to fix their spine, if they have any problems, lower back, your neck, your back, my neck, my back, just like that. Okay. Doc, thank you so much. We're grateful that you came back today. Drive Chat on Joy 99.7 FM. It's 5 o'clock. Let's